We're going to loop around now to college football and head towards Deion Sanders and Colorado taking down TCU in the opener. 20.5-point dog going into the game. I was furious. I was sitting there waiting, trying to bet the game, and they kicked off, and I decided not to. I was going to take Colorado just 20.5, plus 20.5, not even money line or anything like that. And that game, as you're watching Shedeur Sanders, we had someone on the show. We had Andrew on the show like a year ago saying he was going to be a Heisman finalist in a couple months' time. And he just looked every bit the part that Colorado fans hyped him up. A lot of people wanted to see this Colorado team fail because of the way Deion Sanders came in and really rebuilt the whole program over the past 6 months. It's a lot of new players. I think they said one defensive starter remains from the team last year. I thought I caught that on the broadcast. But just an absolutely thrilling game back and forth. Travis Hunter, maybe the Shohei Ohtani of college football I saw. He could do everything. Just an absolute great game from him. When you guys watch this, are you buying the Colorado hype immediately?
Here's the thing about Travis Hunter, man. He's very good. But, back when we were 12 at recess, I was playing both sides, too. I was playing cornerback.
You played both sides of
Thanksgiving,
too.
Yeah, I was doing it all as well. So the hype has to die down a bit on that. Okay. Here's what I took away from Colorado in game one. They looked to me what I expected them to look like for the most part. I thought the offense would look good. I like Shedeur Sanders. And I expected the defense to look subpar, which they did. The other thing is, too, I don't really know how good this year's TCU team is.
Maybe riding it too much of last year's momentum.
I think that 20.5-point line could have been a bit baked into what they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Max Duggan's gone. They lost Quentin Johnson, I believe, in the first round of the draft.
Yep, Chargers.
One of the best receivers in the country. It's a different team. They're a typical Big 12 team, too, right? Like good offense and no defense, TCU. And if it wasn't for a fourth down conversion, Colorado loses. Yeah, they cover easily and they play well, but they lose the game. I'm a little bit hesitant to drink the Kool-Aid right now. I think this team could win 6 or 7 games and play in a bowl game, but they're not going to win the Pac-12. I think USC.
I mean, yeah, people are all over them right now.
I think they'll lose at Oregon. I think they'll lose in Utah. They have tough games. I don't think they're going to win the Pac-12 or even come close. They're a good team. They're an improved team, and they'll be okay. But I'm hesitant to drink the Kool-Aid because the defense is not there.
Let me ask you, before we get to Ziggy's opinion, when you saw them, were they more impressive? I have to imagine they were more impressive than you expected going into last week.
Yeah, look, I thought TCU was going to beat them by probably double digits.
Got it.
But then again, I don't think that I expected TCU. I thought TCU was better than they might be.
Okay.
I don't know how good they are. And if it's not for a fourth down conversion, TCU wins that game.
Are you also pumping the brakes, Ziggy, or are you part of the crowd now that's saying, all right, primetime, let's go. We're all in on the Buffs?
Well, I'll tell you why I'm buying the hype, at least for this season, until Deion leaves to go to Florida State.
He's wearing his black shirt, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's blue. It's blue. You can't really see on the camera. It's blue.
Okay. Ziggy probably had Colorado money line.
Oh, did you?
Look, no comment. All I'm saying is I advised people to take the Colorado money line, combine it with the Sanders over, combine it with the Hunter receiving yards over. That's all I'm saying. If you went to me for advice this weekend, I said that was a lot.
I mean, we publicized the Jack Cap of the Week so much that it gets hidden.
You flew under the radar.
Ziggy's brilliant. Yeah, Professor
sometimes you just got to talk to the professor. But look, here's the thing. Colorado's win total this year was 3.5. And that looks like it might be aggressive, right? Last year, their only win was overtime versus Cal, a program that's kind of trying to lose because they just are excited to lose relevance. I've got some reservations. But look, even if TCU regresses horribly, they're the best team by a mile Colorado's beaten in a couple of years. The fact is Deion Sanders, and it upsets me that he's done this because I worry about the precedent, but he's taken a program that was terrible and immediately transformed them into a competitive team. You just don't see that very often. And furthermore, it wasn't just the talent, right? Deion came in with a great game plan. He knew the offensive line was going to be bad, so he schemed up a lot of quick looks. He knew the defensive line was going to be bad, so he called a little bit less aggressive plays on the defense until it was time to get a stop. The players who needed to showed up at the right moments. And, is this a sustainable 10-win team? No, but if they win 4 games, they've beaten the win total. So Yeah,
do you
they're
guys
way
think a lot of people are so Travis Hunter? We touched him off the top. He was, I mean, great as we said. There were multiple plays that didn't even count. Especially remember that touchdown in the back of the end zone, touchdown grab. He was out of bounds. He made 3 or 4 spectacular plays that didn't even count, and then you add on like the interception, everything. Is he actually a legit Heisman contender in your guys' eyes, or Shedeur Sanders? Because people are talking about that, and it's hard to see those guys ending up as a Heisman finalist or something like that, or even a candidate if Buffalo's not really good. So I'm holding off on that hype because I think this team could win. They could get to 7 wins, but that's not enough for me to get to Heisman potential.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when it comes to the Heisman, unless your stats are like astronomical all season long, I think the team success is a big part of that. I do think Shedeur Sanders. So I'm on the Heisman, I'm not touching that either, at least for a while. But I think this offense
should be great.
Is set up for Shedeur Sanders to be really, really good. He throws a lot of these 7 or 8 yard passes that his receivers get out in space and take it for an extra 25 yards.
And they're more
down the
talented.
field.
The receivers are more talented than a lot of teams in the country.
For sure. He's throwing these quick balls, and the receivers take in the middle of the field, and they're taking off. So I think that his passing yards, at least game 1, were a little bit inflated, and that's what Deion Sanders wants. I mean, why wouldn't he? It's his son. So I think he's having a very good season because I think the offense is set up for him to be elite, but Heisman, I'd pump the brakes on that.
Okay. And Ziggy, one more question before we move off of Colorado here. You said the over-under was 3.5 just like a week ago, I believe, right?
Yeah, that was their win total.
Yeah. So I checked earlier today. It was at 5.5 plus 128, and I'm staring at that number. Like, I mean, Deion Sanders has me by the balls right now. I'm not going to lie. I already hammered mine's 2.5 against Nebraska this week, but I'm looking at their schedule.
Are you spitting or swallowing?
I'm looking at their schedule. I see Nebraska, Colorado State, Arizona. Like, those are all games that they should be able to win. Is 5.5 a number to pounce on right now if you're a gambler?
So I would hit the under, but here's what I'd really
hit the under. Okay.
I think they're going to beat Nebraska. I think they're going to beat Colorado State. And then people forget the Pac-12 this year is a juggernaut. Right, they have to play Oregon. They have to play. Yeah. It's so Pac-12 that they're finally good the year before the league's going out of existence.
But like, up.
You picked some easy teams, right? Here are some hard teams: Oregon, Oregon State, Utah, USC, UCLA. Washington State is one of those teams that can be a tough draw too. It wouldn't be a surprise if they lost every single one of those games, right? They're not out USC and USC. They're probably not going to beat Oregon. They're going to struggle against Utah. If they win their next 3 games, you're going to see that win total go up to 6.5, maybe even 7.5. That's when you hit the under. So I'd be patient. They're going to beat Nebraska because Matt Rule is trash. They're going to beat Colorado State because Colorado State is just not a program. Then you take the under. That's my gambling advice.
That's a good point because they're going to be 3-0. They'll win the home opener.
That Oregon game will be awesome.
They'll win the home opener and they'll beat Colorado State. And then they host USC. Well, it's free.
They go to Oregon. They go to Oregon, then they host USC.
They'll lose at Oregon. They could beat USC at home. They could. But again, they could also lose. They could lose Oregon State.
If they beat USC at home, I think it actually... if they beat USC at home, the Pac-12 is low-key on.
But still, like, you can lose at Oregon. You can lose at Utah. Every single one of the remaining games outside of Stanford. Like, they have Stanford, Arizona.
Here's the schedule. I'll lay it out real quick. They host Colorado State. They host Nebraska and Colorado State at Oregon, host USC, at Arizona State, host Stanford, at UCLA, host Oregon State, host Arizona, at Washington State, at Utah.
Yeah, they should beat Arizona. They should beat Stanford. They should beat Nebraska, and they should beat Colorado State. That's
Arizona State.
That's 5 wins right there. They're at Arizona State.
Okay.
I'm not chalking that as an automatic win.
Okay.
I think on the road in the Pac-12, Colorado can lose to anybody on the road. So there's a world where they can lose the rest of those games. I don't think it's a bad idea to wait for them to go 3-0, maybe get a 6.5 and take them under.
And then do it. Okay, so you guys are in lockstep there.
I'm not buying and sipping the Kool-Aid yet.
It'll be fun though. Deion Sanders, love him or hate him, it's hard not to love him though.
Look, if they're
He's entertaining.
If they're 3-1 or 4-1 though, and it's a night game and USC comes to town, I mean, I'll be on Colorado. I think in that game.
That was fun.
as a home dog.
Even in commercials, it's all Deion Sanders, progressive. He's with Nick Saban. It's like it felt like the Deion show, and it was fun. So we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. Like I'll just say this for Colorado fans: they've had one winning season since 2005. You have to be. I don't care how much Colorado is spending on this. I think they're spending like $8 million a year, plus however much else for Deion's like recruiting stuff. You have to be thrilled with your return on investment, even if he leaves for like Florida State next year.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a great start already. So we'll see what happens. But
7-5 is a good year playing a bowl.